Hello, my name is Kristen. Welcome back to my channel. I make a bunch of bookish videos, so if that's something that interests you, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and that your notification bell is turned on so that you don't miss any videos from me. In this video, I will be bringing back my reading prompt jar to help me pick out my February TBR. I'm super excited for this video because along with using my prompt jar to help me pick my TBR, I'm also participating in Blackathon hosted by Jessie from Bows, Ties, and Books, along with a whole cast of wonderful hosts through YouTube and Instagram. So make sure that you check out everybody's announcement videos and decide what team you want to join. I'll be joining the science fiction fantasy team that is hosted by Starla over on YouTube. So I'm super excited to participate this year and let you guys know what books that I'm going to read for this month and for the prompts for that team. So for those who don't know, this is my reading prompt jar. I started using this last month. So this is only my second month that I'm going to be using this method for picking out my TBR. But last month I had the most fun with it. How this works is that every month I pick 5 prompts out of here to help me choose 5 books that I'm going to read physically. And each prompt is a different color. And so if I choose the same color 5 different times, I will have to add a 6th book to my TBR. So of course, since this is only my second month using my jar, there hasn't been a color that I've pulled 5 times yet. So we're still in the clear and we can pick 5 books. Last month, of the 5 prompts I pulled, I only read 2 of the books that had to do with my prompts, but I ended up reading a total of 8 books in January. So don't really know how that happened, but I'm not mad at it because I still read 8 books. But I do hope to do a little better in sticking to my TBR in the month of February. And I'm hoping that the books that I want to read for Blackathon are going to work for the prompts that I pull here so that I'm not adding more than 5 books on my TBR. So those are the basics of how this game works. I'm super excited to figure out what my TBR for February is going to be. So let's hop right on into it. All right, so let's pick the first prompt. It's all falling out. But I'm going with this one here. And it's so perfect right now. Read a book by a BIPOC author. It's looking good so far already because, again, Blackathon is this month. And I was hoping that the prompts from my reading jar and the prompts for Blackathon would match up. And so far it is because, yes, I get to read a book by a Black author is what this is telling me to do. And then it is an orange prompt, so I'm going to add that to my tally. So the book that I'm deciding to go with for the read a book by a BIPOC author is going to be Ray Bearer by Jordan Nefueko, which also works for 2 of the Blackathon prompts, one being a book that explores the duality between loyalty and betrayal, and the other being read a book between 312 and 387 pages. This one sits at 343 pages, so it works for both of them. I have owned this book since 2020 and have not read this book and have been excited about it ever since I acquired it. So it's really time that I read this book. I mean, the sequel is already out and I just need to get to this book. So I'm really excited that I pulled these prompts and that it's Blackathon and that I'm finally committing to reading this book in the month of February. I believe you pronounce the main character's name as Tarisai, and basically she has always longed for the warmth of a family. She was raised by an often absent mother known as the Lady. And when Tarisai finally comes of age, the Lady sends her to compete with other children to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. But the Lady also sends Tarisi with a compelling wish that she cannot ignore, and that is to kill the Crown Prince when she gains his trust. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a duality between loyalty and betrayal going on in this book. And again, this also fits in the page count. So we're knocking out 3 things with 1 book. So this is book number 1. All right, what is prompt number 2 going to be? Okay, might have to find a new method of doing this because these things be exploding all over me. But anyways, the next prompt I have on here is a purple and it says to read a 5-star prediction. So I definitely have a whole bunch of books by Black authors that I think is going to be a 5-star prediction. It's just a matter of which one am I going to choose. So give me a second. All right, so I figured it out and I'm really excited about this one. I definitely think it's going to be a 5-star read and that is going to be Beast of Prey by Ayana Gray. I remember going to Barnes & Noble's on the day of this book's release to buy it because I was that excited about it. Heard so many good things about this book from people who received ARCs of it. And to already know that this is going to be adapted to media is very exciting. It means that a lot of people think this is a very good book. So I hope that I'm one of those people who also think this is going to be a very good book, a 5-star read. In this book, we have a city that used to be full of magic and splendor until some big event happened, and now magic is no more than a myth. This is until Coffee, who is an indentured beastkeeper at the infamous Night Zoo, unexpectedly unleashes a very dangerous power. We also have Akon, who is a warrior in training, who has been tasked with stopping Coffee from attempting to flee the Night Zoo. But Coffee ends up saving Akon from this powerful magical beast. So now Akon and Coffee decide to team up together in hopes to catch this beast. I honestly feel that this is going to be a very complex story full of so many layers because there's a lot going on in just the synopsis alone. So I'm super excited to read this book and meet all these characters and understand all the beasts and why magic is gone and all this good stuff that's going to go on in this book. So I'm definitely excited to be adding this as my second book on my February TBR. All right, let's get into prompt number 3. It's so difficult to do this. Okay, got one. The third prompt here is going to be read a science fiction. The world is on my side today because I am participating on the science fiction fantasy team of Blackathon, and I literally just got the prompt to read a science fiction. So I don't understand how this can get any better. All right, so boom. The book I'm going to choose for this prompt is The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, which is the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. I've been meaning to continue with the Broken Earth trilogy for the longest time, I think since 2020 as well. And so this is gonna force me to pick up this book and finally finish up this trilogy, or at least start that journey to finishing this trilogy since this is the second book. Also, I believe this book can work for the second prompt of the science fiction fantasy Blackathon team. And that is a book with trans spectrum representation, because the first book definitely had trans spectrum representation. And so I'm assuming the second book will as well if we're, following the same characters. So yeah, this is going to also work for Blackathon. So I'm super excited that it's, again, knocking 2 different prompts with 1 book. I highly recommend reading the 5th season, which is the first book in this trilogy. I truly enjoyed reading it. I was super confused by the book, and I still kind of am, but there were some things that were answered by the end of the book. Some of my questions were answered, and I'm hoping that more of the questions will be answered in the second book as we go along. And I truly need some type of summary review of what the first book even was about because it's been so long since I've read it. I took some notes in my book, so I'm going to look back into the first book and see what notes I took there, and then see if there's something online that I can use to help me to remember what happened in the first book so that I don't have to read it again in order to understand and enjoy this second book. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna get there, and we're gonna read Obelisk Gate and continue on with the series this month in February. Onwards to prompt 4. Okay, the prompt here I have is a light blue prompt, and it is a BookTube recommends, which is also a very good prompt for me to receive this month as well, because the group book for Blackathon is Escaping Exodus by Nikki Drayden, and this is definitely a book that BookTube recommends, so it's definitely going to fit this prompt. I truly do not know anything about Escaping Exodus. I hadn't heard about this book until it was named as the group book for the science fiction fantasy team. So I do not own the book, but I will be getting it. I had already planned to get the book for the readathon, so I'm excited that now it's fitting into my 5 physical book reads for my own TBR game. And yeah, it has a beautiful cover, and I'm truly excited to learn more about what it's about through my reading of the book. All right, last prompt, number 5. I'm super excited with my TBR so far, so let's see what 5th book is going to be added to the great list of books I already am going to be reading this month. I've picked like 3 prompts. This is insane. We're gonna go with this one. Okay. So last prompt here is Light Green, and it's a book that I should have read last year. I really enjoy this prompt. So let me look on my TBR cart and see what book I was supposed to read last year, which is like every single book that I own, but which one am I gonna choose for this prompt? All right, y'all, I have found the perfect book for this prompt as well. Like, I'm honestly tired of talking about this book because when I tell you that I was supposed to read this book last year, it was literally supposed to be read last year and I did not read it despite the several times I talked about it on this channel. And that is Wings of Ebony by J.L. This book came out last year in January, and the sequel to this book is already out, I believe, so I really need to get to it. I heard so many great things about this book. The cover is beautiful, and I have put this on several TBRs in the past before and have just never read the book. So this month in February, like out of all these other books, honestly, like I need to read Wings of Ebony because it's been on my TBR for just way too long and I've been excited for it ever since I received it. So I even think I pre-ordered this book, so it came to my house on the day it was released. So it's really just a shame that I haven't read it yet. In this book, we're following Rue, who unfortunately learns that her mom has been murdered and she is taken to her father's home, Gizon, which is a secret country of gods who wield a powerful magic. Rue's existence is a crime because she is half god and half human. Rue is miserable on Gizon, so she breaks the #1 law of the country and she goes back to her hometown of Houston to visit her sister, who she dearly misses, where she learns that Black kids are being forced into crime and violence. Adding to that, there is an evil on Gizon that will stop at nothing to make sure everything is taken away from Rue. So it's like every time I read the synopsis, I get excited to pick it up and I like want to drop everything and read it now. And I just don't. So this time in February, when I feel that urge, it's going to happen. I'm going to pick up Wings of Ebony. I'm going to read it and I'm going to enjoy it, hopefully. So these are the 4 books plus Escaping Exodus that I still need to order for the group book for Blackathon. But these are going to be the 5 books that I am reading in the month of February. And I'm so excited with this stack. It's going to be a great reading month, I'm already knowing, and I'm super excited to participate in Blackathon. I'm hoping that I can participate in the YouTube challenge and the Instagram challenge that starts this upcoming Monday from when I'm filming this video. So I'm happy that I have picked my TBR in time so that I know exactly what I'm going to be reading. Again, I'm just super excited for this month, as always, super excited for all these Black authors' works that I'm going to be diving into this month. And hopefully I enjoy everything, and that in my February wrap up, I can just come back to y'all with raving reviews of all of these books. There are a couple of books that I really want to read in this month of February as well, and they are not written by Black authors. And that is House of Earth and Blood, which is the first book in the Crescent City series. And I've already read this book. This is a reread for me. This actually was chosen for me from my reading prompt jar last month of reread a book, and I decided to reread Crescent City #1 to be ready for House of Sky and Breath that is coming out on the 15th of this month. So that is the second book that I will hopefully be reading this month as well, in addition to all of these other books that I've just discussed by Black authors. So honestly, this is quite an ambitious TBR, if I do say so myself, especially because these books are chunkers. I also am trying to participate in Buzzwordathon that's hosted by Books and Lala over on Instagram, YouTube. The prompt for February is pronouns, and none of the books that I have chosen this month have a pronoun in them. So I will probably try to find a book that fits that prompt through my audiobook listens for the month, which I never know which audiobook I'm going to listen to because it depends on what books I have in my Libby account. It depends on what I feel like listening to at the moment. So I have no idea what that book is going to be, but I will definitely update you guys on what book I choose for Buzzwordathon on Instagram and in my February wrap up. But yeah, that is all from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are enjoying my reading prompt jar as much as I am. Like, I literally want to read all of the books by Black authors on my shelf, so I'm happy that I kind of have a system that helps me choose quicker and more efficiently the books that I am going to focus on this month. If you made it to the end of this video, please comment down below some Black hearts and leave a comment down below on what you're going to be reading this month in February. Are you participating in Blackathon? If so, what team are you joining? What books are you reading? If not, just what books are you reading by Black authors this month? I would love to know, because of course I have not heard of all of the books by Black authors, so I'm so down to add more books to my TBR as well. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're always notified whenever I go live or whenever I upload a new video. But until then, I hope you guys have amazing days and amazing nights and amazing reads in the month of February. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!